What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like and subscribe, hit the bell notification, put it on all so you get notified as soon as the new videos drop. So, without further ado, let's get into this. This is a very stacked card on Saturday night, and we're going to talk about one of probably the most controversial fight on the card, which is Dynamite Daniel Dubois versus Jarrell Big Baby Miller, or AKA Jarrell Big Farmer Miller, the guy who was supposed to fight Anthony Joshua instead of Andy Ruiz, but failed, with every single PED under the sun. Yeah, that guy. Big, brash American coming from Brooklyn. And yeah, the Big Baby Miller is definitely whatever we think of him. And, you could say, well, the guy should never be boxing again, to be honest, with the amount of drugs tests and stuff this guy's failed. But nonetheless, here we are. He's in Saudi Arabia. He's getting that Saudi money and he's fighting Dynamite Daniel Dubois. And one thing I must say, the build up to this fight has been hilarious. Big Baby Miller has been winding everybody up. He's been, of course, saying to Daniel Dubois, as of yesterday, they sort of caught up. I guess it was a hotel lobby or something like that. And he was going to Dubois, putting the pressure on him and stuff and saying, yeah, I'm glad you lost your virginity and all that. So, yeah, because obviously Dubois has been posting pictures of his new girlfriend, because there is Brazilian queen and that. So he's not really a guy that you'd see with girls before. So everyone's busting his little jokes about him. So yeah, they had a little confrontation. Dubois was saying, I'm going to put you to sleep. He's not really quick on the uptake. He's not really good at the trash talk. But Miller, being from Brooklyn and that, those guys, they know how to snap. They know how to Jones on you, as they call it. So, yeah, this fight is, for me, it's going to be a difficult one. I think Big Baby Miller, if he has what he used to have with the high work rate and the ability to sort of take a shot, keep coming, really put a lot of pressure on his opponents, and just keep coming like a steam train, throwing punch after punch. I mean, his work rate was pretty much back in the days when I think he must have been on the juice. He had the work rate of a much lighter fighter, like a middleweight or a welterweight, throwing punch after punch, hundreds of punches in a fight. So if he's still kind of got that work rate, then I think Dubois could be in trouble here. But when you look at his latest performances with Lucas Brown and this other fighter, other low level fighter, he really just looks kind of sloppy and fat and overweight and stuff. So in his latest performances, it doesn't really look like he's got the work rate that he used to have when he was probably on the juice or whatever. So in my opinion, as much as I know many are picking Jarrell Miller because of Daniel Dubois sort of quitting, conceding against Joe Joyce a few years back, and of course his latest performance against Alexander Usyk, where he conceded, he quit yesterday, low blow. You can say it's controversial and it wasn't low, and etc. etc. But Daniel Dubois did quit in that fight. He did sort of concede and didn't really protest and didn't try to really get up and fight on when he went down against Usyk. So a lot of people are just looking at Dubois' mentality and saying, look, this guy, when he gets put under pressure, he doesn't want it. He just concedes, he just gives up, and etc. etc. But for me personally, I'm thinking that, contrary to what seems to be popular belief, I'm favouring Daniel Dubois to win this fight. I think Daniel Dubois can come through this. I think he's good enough to be sort of outboxing, outlanding Jarrell Miller. I think he's clever enough to get through the fight. I think that he will have problems. He will have issues because Miller's a big mouth and he's going to be sort of playing mind games in the ring. But I think Daniel Dubois, he's got the punching power to keep Jarrell Miller honest, and he's got the punching power to probably stop Jarrell Miller. I think he's got that ability because Jarrell Miller, when you look at it, he's not really been in there against elite competition. Whereas Daniel Dubois actually has. He actually has some decent names, albeit okay, Usyk and Joyce losing efforts and stuff like that. But no one Jarrell Miller's boxed has been anywhere close to the level of those guys like Joyce and and Usyk. So Miller, yeah, he talks a lot, but his best wins against basically a blown up cruiserweight in Tomasz Adamek from Poland. That's probably his best win. And, he's got a high work rate, he's big, he's strong, but as far as, having a punching power, he's not really the biggest puncher. And I think when he goes in against Daniel Dubois is probably going to be the biggest puncher he's ever faced in his career because due to his drug cheating, he wasn't able to fight Anthony Joshua. So he didn't have to deal with Anthony Joshua. So when he steps in against Daniel Dubois, that punching power is going to be a new thing for him. Many say, oh, Lucas Brown could, but yeah, Lucas Brown could punch, but Lucas Brown is about 45, he's going on 50 years old. So he's very slow and everything. Whereas Dubois, you're dealing with a young man that's quite fresh, punches hard, big, strong. He's a bit stiff and everything, but I think for me, Daniel Dubois, he's got the ability, he's got the punching power, and I think he's going to deal with Jarrell Miller, and I think he'll be the first man to stop Jarrell Miller. I don't think it will happen early in the fight, but I think he'll be able to get to Jarrell Miller later in the fight when Jarrell Miller tires, because I think when guys have been on these cycles and these PEDs and all that, they come off of these drugs and they're not going to be the same fighter. And I just think Daniel Dubois is going to be able to sort of hurt this man and get him out of there later on in the fight. That's just my opinion on it. I know a lot of people are picking Miller because of his work rate. Because obviously he's a trash talker, he's going to have a psychological edge and he might be able to play mind games. But I honestly think he's not the fighter that he was when, years ago when he was on the PEDs and all that stuff. And I think he's not going to be able to keep up a good work rate for the distance. I think he's going to tire in his fight and Daniel Dubois is going to get to him and probably stop him late. And that's just my opinion on it. So let me know your opinion in the comment section below. Are you into the popular belief, which most people seem to be picking? Jarrell Miller, he's going to take Dubois out, he's going to stop him, etc., etc. Or do you, like me, think Dubois, he's got the power, he's got the ability, and Miller is probably going to tire later on? Let me know what your thoughts are. And until next time, it's MKO Pugilism, over and out.